In this video, we'll be working with Pascal's triangle. In particular, this question comes from page 257, 2b, and what we want to find is how many different ways are there to get from the T to the E in this diagram. And we use the Pascal's triangle type pattern. So starting here, there's one way to start. You start at the T, I'll put a little 1 above it. And then to get to this R, you only have one choice. You go here to here, that's 1. To get to this R, there's also one choice. So far, not so interesting. Same thing to get to this I on the very left. Your only choice is to go 1, 1. There's one way to get here. And similarly with this I, there's one way to get here. But the I in the middle, you can either go this way or this way, giving two possible choices. And thus what you're doing is essentially Pascal's triangle. How do you get to this A? There's one way. How do you get to this A? There's one way. How do you get to this A? There's 1, 2, 3 ways. Or just add the numbers like in Pascal's triangle. Same with this A. There's either one way, or 2 ways, or 3 ways, or just 2 plus 1 is 3. And let's stop counting the paths and just use our Pascal's triangle type strategy. I know to get to this N, it'll be the sum of how many ways to get to here and how many ways to get to here. So the ways to get to this N is 1 plus 3, or 4. To get to this N, it's just 3 plus 3, 6. To get to this N, it's just 3 plus 1, 4. How many ways to get to this G? Well, you had 4 ways to get to here and 6 ways to get to here. So how many ways to get to G? It's just 4 plus 6, 10. And same with this G, 6 plus 4, 10. Now, how many ways can you get to this L? The only ways you can come to this L are by getting to this G and then going to the L. That's 10 ways. Same with this L. All the different ways you can go, you get to this G and then you have to go directly to the L. There are 10 ways. But this L in the middle, you can either come from this G or from this G, which is 10 plus 10, which is 20. Now the E's at the bottom. Only way to get to this E was to come from this L. So there are 10 ways. But to get to this E, you can come from 10 ways or these 20 ways, which is 30. And to get to this E, you could come from these 20 or these 10 ways, add them together, you get 30. And finally the E on the very bottom right, you had to come this way to get to these 10 spots, which means there's only 10 ways to get here. So the total number of ways is 10 plus 30 plus 30 plus 10, which equals 80. Therefore, there are 80 paths. And that's an example of how to use Pascal's triangle.